Hey, Exoticals, it's your girl back with another exotical rant. You know what I was thinking about? You really want to know? I was thinking about safety. Sometimes you gotta lie for your safety, ladies. Let's get right into it. It's winter now in most parts of the country. If you're in America, it's getting darker sooner. So it's like some safety tips that I think every exotical and every woman point blank period should definitely need to know. Ladies, if you're out, you're doing errands, please try to do your errands before it gets dark. I know it gets dark way sooner now because it is winter in America. So please be safe. At these gas stations, please look around and know your surroundings. I suggest if you are, a woman to go to gas stations that are maybe like a Costco or Sam's Club, where literally it's like somebody at the pump, especially if you're in states where you don't, like have to, somebody else doesn't pump your gas. Go to gas stations that are like corporately owned gas stations or gas stations at like warehouses. Because it's usually an attendant there and they keep the cars going. So it's not a lot of room for a lot of chit chat, a lot of stop or loitering around because they're trying to get you in and out for the next car. Get it, got it, good. Another thing, make sure you're driving around with all your doors locked. I know a lot of times you just jump in the car, you're not paying attention, your back door may be unlocked. You need to make sure your door is locked. And if you are a pro at safety, I also would suggest to lock your gas tank as well. It doesn't cost that much to go look it up on Amazon to go get a locked thing for your car or call the company that made your vehicle. It's very easy to get. But I suggest you keep your doors locked and your car windows up even during the day. Because it just deters people from, especially people that are trying to do you harm, from seeing you as an easy target. Get it? Got it? Good. I also suggest keeping a charger with you. And this, I have problems with this too, girls. I always forget my charger. So I literally bought a charger just for my vehicle. And I try to keep a power bank like in my vehicle as well, just in case like something's wrong with the my charging portal in my vehicle. I already have a power bank. I can just plug it in wherever I'm at, and I don't need anybody or to ask anybody for anything. Again, when you're out nowadays, you also, ladies, for safety, you need to not park by big trucks or vans. I never do this. If I see a van or a truck and like that's like the only spot, I literally will just wait for another car to pull out away from that vehicle because those trucks or vans are usually with men in them, and a lot of times they're sitting in their vehicles and whatnot, and you never know somebody's intent. You don't want to be paranoid, but again, it's your safety, and you don't know somebody's intent until something that you're already harmed. So I always try not to park near those vans or big trucks or anything like that. I park away from that. If I come out of the store and then I notice like, somebody has a truck or van has moved near me, and they're in the vehicle or it just looks shady, I go back in the store and ask one of the guys that work there, can they walk me to my vehicle and just make sure I get in my vehicle and make sure that vehicle does not follow me. And I ask the worker to also get their tag number, and I get their tag number as well. Like I literally will walk around my vehicle and act like I'm doing something and snap their tag number just in case they start following me. I can contact the police while I'm driving. This is a dangerous world we live in, Exoticals. So don't ever feel overly safe. Even in good areas, there always are predators around, and people that are predators are trying to make sure you're not paying attention. They want to get you off guard. They don't want you to or if you get somebody asking you for directions, literally ignore people like this. And like I've done this so many times where people have gotten mad at me, but it's in a world of technology, you can just Google it. You can figure it out from your phone. And I always ask them, you got your phone on you? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, use it. Or I say, you got your phone on you, and then I just tell them, hey, just download Google Maps. It'll tell you. I'm not sure. And I don't say it in a mean way, but I'm like, I'm not about to stand around and tell you direction from direction, especially if I don't know you and it's getting dark, or it's a weird vibe around you. Trust your gut. Ladies, you know if somebody has a weird vibe. Like if something's just off. And then a lot of times, ladies, listen to this. My mom always told me, if like a adult asks you for help, don't help them, because they're an adult, they can figure it out themselves. It's the same logic here. If a man asks you for help, it's kind of funny, because a man would ask another man for assistance if he was really trying to get help. Because what woman can really help a man in that way? Like if his car is going out or something like that, or like you're going to ask another man. They're not going to ask a small woman, or a woman that probably won't have the knowledge base, or be scared to help because she doesn't really know that man. They're going to ask another guy. Same logic here. Why would they ask you? Like, why would you know more than them or another guy? It doesn't really make sense. And I'm not trying to be like sexist or anything, but it doesn't make sense. Why is he asking you for help instead of the next guy that also owns a truck, or also like most men know more about vehicles than women, and that's just facts. So like, why is he asking you, or why wouldn't he just ask another guy? It seems weird. So if it seems weird, it probably is, ladies. Again, and if you're in parking garages, before you get out your car, look around, ladies. Don't just jump out of your car in parking garages, especially at night, and during winter months when it gets darker sooner. I would suggest avoid parking garages entirely if you can, but I know in certain areas you can't really avoid them in totality. So, ladies, be on your guard, and don't be scared to ask a guy that's in the store that works there, or or maybe a group of women associates, to walk you to your vehicle if you sense something is off. I've did this many times, like, hey, I'm not, especially like maybe you're like pregnant, or you might even be like, you might have a hurt arm or leg or knee, or you have some element like people can see or they can't see that would deter you from like going fighting somebody off. Definitely ask people to walk you to your vehicle, even in the stores. And I usually do that. I usually like can sense, like I'll go into a store and start chit-chatting, and I can sense if a guy is nice enough and I feel comfortable around him to ask me if he works there to walk me to my car. And a lot of times they don't even mind. They're like, sure. They wanted to like stop, doing whatever meaningless task they were doing anyway. So they're like, sure, I walk into, and they have good conversation, and they'll look out for you because they're like, oh, okay. Like I see you in here all the time. Or even if you're in a new environment, they're like, oh, sure. If you feel uncomfortable, I'll definitely walk you to your vehicle. So don't be afraid to ask. And when you're dealing with strangers, I think this is a very important safety tip, ladies. When you're dealing with strangers and like people, especially at stores or malls, you just met them and they start asking you very personal questions, or even asking for your name, don't be afraid to lie. I lie all the time. I have many different aliases I go by because everybody does not need to know my business. I don't even know you. And especially if I get a vibe that I'm uncomfortable around you, I'm going to give you whatever name that comes to my head. And I really don't care, because again, I don't know you, and I'm not going to be, attached to you in a certain way. And I don't like, and they know they're asking you questions they shouldn't be asking you. Like, where do you live? Who do you live with? I always say I live with my family, and I say I live with my dad and brothers, and I only have brothers. And I always say they love guns. I'll always start talking about, oh my God, my dad is taking me to the gun range, tomorrow, so I probably have to get home anyway, because my dad's taking me to the gun range, and he hates when I wake up late because he likes to get there early to clean his weapons and whatnot. And make sure you emphasize weapons, okay? When you're dealing with people that are unsafe, I always emphasize this. Quick story time, ladies. Once I was working like as a receptionist at a front desk, and like this place I worked at was in the city. So through the window, you could clearly see I was a beautiful woman through the window. So a lot of men would come in there, try to talk to me, chat it up, trying to get my number and take me out, whatever. This one particular guy, I got a very weird vibe from. He kept trying to ask me to go hiking with him. Again, I did not know this man. Why would I go to an isolated area with you and I don't know you? He was very odd. Ladies, I just started talking about my dad, and like my dad loves guns. My dad is, I literally was like, oh, my dad's a Trumper. I started making up stuff, even though that's definitely not true. I started making up stuff like my dad loves to carry. My dad, I just started talking about my brothers are crazy. I told him about one time my brothers attacked this guy because they felt like he disrespected me because I told him to leave me alone and he kept trying to ask for my number. I started making up very crazy stories about how protective my dad and brothers were of me. And I always talked about how I'm so glad my dad taught me how to use a weapon and not be afraid of weapons. And how, like, I'm just glad, like, I've had my dad in my life and all my brothers because they keep me nice and like, I started, like, I was like, yeah, sometimes I think they're crazy and gun trotting, like trotting hippies or crazy guys. But again, they are so nice to me, so I can't really get mad at them. I started like acting like a gold digger. Yeah, if a guy can't afford to buy me a new car and a new gun, I can't talk to him. I started saying crazy stuff till he stopped coming to talk to me because again, with somebody that has issues or somebody that is a predator, you can't be direct with these people because they are crazy. They may get, if I was like, hey, telling this guy, hey, stay the fuck away from me, he might have started trying to stalk me, follow me, hurt me because I disrespected him. So I started saying outrageous things, and I said them normally, not in a kidding way. So he would like get the picture, duh, but I never insulted him and told him not to come back and talk to me. You see, get it, got it, good. Lady, never share your personal information with people, even phone numbers. I literally do not give out my number anymore, especially if I like somebody is pushing me to give out my number. I do not give out my number to people like that. I'm very private and strategic about who I give my real number to. So I make up numbers online and I give those people those numbers that they can just text. It's nothing behind it. And look it up in your app store and you can just get a texting number too. It's really cheap or sometimes even free. But like, ladies, do not give people your regular number. And then when people be like, oh, hey, like, why does your phone's always go straight to voicemail? I always say, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm not a big chatter. Just text me. And that it literally, it wards off people with disingenuous and malice intent for you because they don't have a direct number to you. They don't know your real name. And so it just wards them off and they can't start asking you for stuff or whatever their intent was. If it's not pure, they're just going to fall off anyway. And I started giving people that number because, again, I just got really tired of like dealing with people that had my contact info that I never wanted to talk to. And they would be pushy about getting my number and whatnot. So I just created fake numbers to give out. Make sure you memorize these numbers, ladies. I memorize my numbers, my fake numbers. So when I give them out, it sounds very smooth coming out. So I'll memorize a number and I'll say it very swiftly, very quickly. Ladies, again, this is your safety. We're as some of the most beautiful women on earth as Exoticals, we have to be safe. Especially when we're just going out running our errands or even traveling. Sometimes you have to travel by yourself. Maybe it's for work or maybe it's for leisure, but like at that time you don't have anybody to escort you, so you have to travel by yourself or you feel like you want to travel by yourself. Some people are very independent and want to travel by themselves. No worries, ladies, I got you. First thing you need to do, go to Target, and Target is Target. Go to Target or go to Target.com and get a door stop alarm. And it's TSA friendly, so no worries there. Also, number 2, go to Target or Target.com and get a portable door lock. That is also TSA friendly. And they're very small, but it will stop somebody from just walking on in. Even if they have a key, they cannot get in if you're inside that room. It'll give you time enough to call an emergency, to get your weapon, to prepare for their entry. It will give you enough time to like really like wake up and be like, what's going on? These are these safety precautions, especially if you're going to places where you cannot bring weapons, especially if you're traveling internationally. Ladies, also, I want you to go to your app store right now. I mean, right now, and I want you to download Noon Light. It's an app. It's a safety app. So I want you to download that app right now. And it seems funny, like people are like, why are you telling people to download these apps? It's for safety, okay? Also, when you are traveling internationally or even domestically, I want you to always send at least two people that care about you your itinerary. This is so important because it breaks down a timeline of where you're going to be at and when you're going to be there. And I also want you on your itinerary to add if you're going to make miscellaneous stops. Like, hey, if you stop here or somewhere, if you stop somewhere to chit chat or talk to locals or whatever you're doing, update your itinerary. Have your itinerary in real time. Okay. I also want you to go to the App Store and download the Safe Department app. It's called Safe Traveler app. And basically it tells you if there's any conflict going on in that area, that country, and where it's located at. So you can avoid those areas, or it'll let you know if it's tension where you're at, so you know to be on your P's and Q's. I also want you to go to the App Store. Stay in that App Store, ladies. Go back to the App Store. I want you to download the panic button, and your phone does not have to be unlocked to access the panic button. So in case somebody knocks you down, or you just feel unsafe when you're walking somewhere and you're by yourself, you can hit that panic button and contact local police immediately. And it will contact people in your contacts that you authorize to receive that panic, so they can also contact the police in your area, in their area, and where just download it. It's just peace of mind. Just download it. Ladies, you have to be safe when traveling. You have to lie sometimes. And I find that a lot of people don't like to lie. I've met a lot of girls that don't like to lie to strangers for some reason. But like a lot of times when you get somebody really nosy, you have to lie. Anytime I meet a stranger, like I remember I was at Walmart, and I don't even really like Walmart, but I had to go in Walmart for something one day. And this guy just ran up to me and started talking to me. Ladies, I gave him a fake number, first of all. And I told him I stay with my family. Then he asked me, what did I do for a living? I said, you know what? I'm kind of in between jobs. I'm traveling a lot. I'm trying to figure things out. So I did not give you a location, a place, or anywhere that I would be at. I did not tell you where I lived. I told him I lived somewhere. I didn't even live nowhere in that area. I just picked an area that I was familiar with that's way far away from me. And I told him I lived out there with my family. Never tell people that you live alone, even if you're living alone. When I did live alone as a single woman, I was single and I did live alone, I would always tell people I stayed with my family, especially if I did not know them. I would tell them I stayed with my family, my mom, my dad, my brothers. I would always tell them that because it's none of their damn business. And somebody that's a predator, that's what they want to know. They want to know, when are you alone by yourself and nobody's around? That's one thing I suggest. That's why I always lived, when I was single, I always lived with roommates, female roommates particularly. I always lived with roommates because it deters people that are predators. And I literally, ladies, I also lived in a gated community as well. And like, I will give props for the community I lived in because the gate was always working and it was always closed. You had to have a code to get in. And if you were a guest, you had to use a guest entrance. So if you were not a resident of that apartment, you had to use the guest entrance. So it cut down on a lot of the riff raft. And again, this was an affluent suburb as well. So that kind of cut down on the riff raft too. But ladies, you don't want to put yourself in a bad situation if you don't have to. Never be afraid to ask for help. Never be afraid to safeguard your hotel rooms. Never be afraid to like even ask store employees, even if it's all women, to walk you outside to your car. They're less likely to bother groups of women. They want to get you by yourself. They want to get small children and women. They are not going to approach a group of women. They're not going to approach a woman walking with a man. This is why, like, when I do my errands, I always bring hubby with me. Either he's in the car or he's definitely coming in the store with me, especially if it's a place I've never been to before. I'll just go ahead and let him come in the store with me. Because I don't know who's in there. I'm not familiar with the area of the store. So it's best that he comes in with me. And sometimes I even go get some guy friends if they're not busy. And if I have to go far, I let them ride with me and ask them, hey, can I buy you lunch today if you just ride with me? Because I have a few errands to run and I don't want to be by myself because I don't know this area. I bring them with me and they don't mind. A lot of people love free lunch. So they don't mind. I'm like, I'll get you whatever you want. Just make sure, can you just ride with me for a couple hours? I highly suggest this, ladies, because we live in a world, it's getting more unsafe and you're hearing more and more exoticals. I mean, just check out my cautionary tales. You're hearing more sad stories from women that are not being aware. When they catch a vibe, they don't jump out. Like literally, I had a friend that caught a bad vibe from her Uber driver and she jumped out of the vehicle when he slowed down at the stoplight, rolled on the ground and started running back toward me because she knew my location where I was going to be at because I used to work in the city. So she knew where I was going to be at. She jumped and rolled. I mean, she had skinned up her whole arm. She was like, I'd rather skin up my arm instead of get kidnapped or raped. You get it? God, or even worse, unalived. Ladies, this is the real world. That's why I always tell you, ladies, this is grown women business. When you decide to live by yourself, you just try to travel by yourself. You decide to engage in sex. This is grown woman business. You have to make sure you're safe. You have to know who you're dealing with. I honestly, ladies, in the world we live in, if I was dating now, I would definitely do background checks. These are crazy, okay? I would definitely do background checks on these people because people are really weird. I would definitely not have people coming in and out of my place, even if I'm staying with roommates or family. Again, because you don't need to let everybody that knows you or that met you doesn't need to know where you lay your head at. So I definitely would suggest you give people fake information. Don't be afraid to lie. And again, I think a lot of times when you're an exotical or you consider yourself a pretty good girl, you don't think like how vicious people are. But the reason they want to know all your information is because they're weird. They're predators. Why would somebody at the store want to know, oh, where do you live? Where do you work? Where are you going? Do you live by yourself? That's weird questions to ask somebody you just met or don't even know, you know? So ladies, please be aware and don't think every guy that comes up to you is trying to flirt with you and date you. Sometimes they have malice intent. And I've noticed that a lot. So like, especially when I used to work in the city, I noticed a lot of guys were very predatory. They were very predatory toward young women or beautiful women because they figured that you're naive, you're young, you just don't know. So they will come and try to ask you a lot of questions, unsolicited in the fashion of like, oh, I'm just trying to flirt with you, but they're trying to get your personal info. They're trying to see if like, oh, are you an easy fuck? You know what I'm saying? They're trying to see if you're going to like, they can easily get you in the bed. They can easily, you'll easily give them money. You'll easily give them all the information about yourself to them. They're trying to see how easy it would get to get into your business and get by you, how easy it would be. ladies, don't fall for game. Don't fall for predators. Somebody really trying to get to know you will be okay. You're not telling them all your information up front. They wouldn't be pushy toward you. Because again, they know they don't know you and they don't want to offend you. Somebody that's not worried about offending you is probably a predator. It's very easy to detect. They want to know information about you so they can see how easy it would be to either do harm toward you or or they're just trying to get laid. So ladies, please be smart. Especially when you're out and about, and even if you're not in a city, if you're just in any area, even if you're familiar with it, be on your P's and Q's. You never know who's around and who's watching you. Be on your P's and Q's. And I always say, ladies, in this type of world, get comfortable using a weapon. Go train at a gun range. Take some classes. Don't be afraid to educate yourself if your family just couldn't give it to you or they didn't have it themselves. Don't be afraid to educate yourself. I've even taken classes and I've had training before, but just refresher courses. Especially if you're transitioning to new weapons, you want to take refresher courses on safety, on the usage of the gun, how powerful that weapon is. Some weapons are more powerful than other weapons. So you really want to gauge what you're using, how to use it correctly, and how not to injure yourself or others unintentionally. Ladies, this is the real world we live in. So sometimes you gotta lie for your safety. Sometimes you gotta act like you're crazier than you really are. Take it from Exotical Rants. I've acted like a crazy bitch before, especially when I'm dealing with men that are predators. I've act crazy as hell. I've act like an extreme gold digger. I've act like my family was crazy as fuck. So if you fuck with me, they're coming after your ass. And I've exaggerated situations because you have to get these kind of predators off your back. You got to let them know, like, hey, if you go after me, there's going to be some repercussions. Okay? So not just the police, but other people going to come looking for your ass. You've got to let them people know what's up. Ladies, I definitely suggest you, getting the apps I suggested. I definitely suggest you going to Target and getting those door stop alarms, the portable door lock. Make sure you download Noonlight. Make sure you download, what's the other one I said? I said Noonlight. I said Safe Travelers app. And I said, make sure you download Panic Button. These are going to be like, precautions you can take. And and also if you're just, domestically, also put a pepper spray on your keychain and also carry one on your body. I always carry one on my body. So even if you push me and knock me to the ground, it wouldn't fall out my pocket or something because I have it in a secure location. Does that make sense? And sometimes if you're walking through somewhere and you start feeling unsafe, I have popped mine out, got it ready, opened it up. And I hold it in my hand and keep walking. So if somebody walks past me, they can clearly see what I'm holding. Cause I don't give a fuck. Cause I know my safety is my number one thing. So I don't care if they feel like, oh, she's crazy. Good. I am crazy. Stay away from me. I even have had friends that said, hey, I had to pull out my weapon just to let them know I will blow you away. Ladies, this is real life safety. So you do what you have to do to stay safe. And I'm going to just tell you this straight up. Do what you have to do to stay safe. Never feel like you're doing too much for your safety. Do exactly what you have to do to feel safe. If you need to pull out your weapon or whatever you have and just hold it down, I suggest do that. I've done that in many scenarios because I did not feel safe and I did not care who felt uncomfortable. Call the cops on me. If you feel uncomfortable because I feel uncomfortable around you, call the cops. They never do because they're predators. But anyway, lady, this is your girl with Exotical Rants. I can go on and on and on. Let me know if this video helped you. Let me know if you went to Target. Let me know in the comments, like and subscribe and comment, and have a great day. Bye, ladies.